guys, it's Miss Eileen and Cooper. We're so glad you can make it today. What we're going to do now, guys, is worship. So if you're on your bed, on a sofa, on a chair, I need you to get up right now. Let's worship.
Broken heart, you picked me up, now I'm set apart. From the ash I am born again, forever safe in the Savior's hands. You are more than my words can say. I'll follow you, Lord, for all my days. I'll fix my eyes, following your ways, forever free in unending grace. 'Cause you are my freedom. We lift you higher, lift you higher. You love, never ending. Whoa, oh, oh. You are light in us, nothing can take your place. You are all we need, your love has set us free. Whoa. Darkest night, let your love be the shining light, breaking chains that were holding me. You sent your son down and set me free. 'Cause you are my freedom. We lift you higher, lift you higher. You love, never ending. Whoa, oh, oh. You are light in us, nothing can take your place. You are all we need, your Lord has set us free. You are light in us, nothing can take your place. You are all we need, your Lord has set us free. Whoa. You are my freedom. We lift you higher, lift you higher. Your love, never ending. Whoa, oh, oh. 'Cause you are my freedom. We lift you higher, lift you higher. Your love, never ending. Whoa, oh, oh. You are light in us, nothing can take your place. You are all we need, your love has set us free. You are light in us, nothing can take your place. You are all we need, your love has set us free. Whoa.
Man, you guys, that worship was awesome. But before we do our next song, let's read this verse together, okay? Psalm 30:12 says, "My heart will sing your praises. I can't keep silent. Lord my God, I will praise you forever." God's love is so, so good, guys. And when we dance and sing for him, his heart is filled with so much joy. So, let's fill his heart with joy right now. Everybody get up on your feet. Let's dance his last song.
You spoke one word and the dark became light. I believe it, yeah. You spoke my name and my heart came to life. I believe it, yeah. I wanna sing about it, I wanna scream and shout it. I'm gonna sing it right now. At the top of my lungs I sing, with all of my heart I will praise you. God, you are everything. You're the reason top of my lungs. Yeah, at the top of my lungs. You're all I need every day of my life. I believe it, yeah. You're all I need, always here by my side. I believe it, yeah. I wanna sing about it, I wanna scream and shout it. I wanna sing it right now. At the top of my lungs, I'll sing. With all of my heart, I will praise you. God, you are everything. You're the reason that I lift my voice. At the top of my lungs, I'll sing. With all of my heart, I will praise you. God, you are everything. You're the reason that I lift my voice. At the top of my lungs. Yeah, at the top of my lungs. At the top of my lungs. I'm gonna scream it, oh, I'm gonna shout it. I'm gonna sing it out. At the top of my lungs. I'm gonna scream it, oh, I'm gonna shout it. I'm gonna sing it right now. At the top of my lungs, I'll sing. With all of my heart, I will praise you. God, you are everything. You're the reason that I lift my voice. At the top of my lungs, I'll sing. With all of my heart, I will praise you. God, you are everything. You're the reason that I lift my voice. At the top of my lungs, I'll sing. With all of my heart, I will praise you. God, you are everything. You're the reason that I lift my voice. At the top of my lungs. At the top of my lungs. Yeah, at the top of my lungs.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. And now for an amazing story.
Hi everyone, it's Miss Ariana, and I hope you all are being warm and cozy here on this wonderful Sunday. So, all this year, we've been kind of digging deep into God's big story, the Bible. Now, all this month we've been talking about Jesus and how He turned the world upside down with humility. Now, humility is putting others first by giving up what you think you deserve. And last week, Miss Mandy told the story about how Jesus died on the cross to pay the price for our sins. And then He came back to life. When Jesus came out of the tomb, Jesus changed everything. Not just one thing, not just two things, everything. He changed the way people viewed God. He changed the way we have a relationship with God so that sin wouldn't be the way. And not only that, Jesus also changed the way that people would seem to treat each other. And thus, the golden rule was born. Treat others how you want to be treated. Now, there was an apostle and his name was Paul, and he wrote a letter to a church in Philippi. And the book was called, believe it or not, Philippians. Paul loved to remind people of Jesus' example. He wanted to encourage them to live like Jesus did. Here are some words from Paul's letter to us, and it's found in Philippians 2:3 and 5-8. It reads, Don't do anything only to get ahead. Instead, be humble. Value others more than yourselves. As you deal with one another, you should think and act as Jesus did. Jesus was equal with God, but Jesus didn't take advantage of that fact. Instead, he made himself nothing. He did this by taking on the nature of a servant. He appeared as a man. He was humble and obeyed God completely. He did this even though it led to his death. Now, those are some wise words. Notice that Paul went back to Jesus' example. He said that we should look at ways Jesus showed humility, and then we can choose to be humble ourselves. But what does this really look like? What does it look like to value others more than ourselves? Well, I've planned out a few scenarios that I think might look a bit familiar. Maybe you've experienced something like this. Hey Andrea, did you get all of your homework done?
Uh-huh.
And you've got like all of it done?
I've only got a little bit left.
I need you to finish your homework. And also, can you feed the dogs for me?
Uh-huh.
Andrea, I mean now. I mean the dog's pawing at her bowl.
Give me like 5 more minutes. This game is really good.
1 hour later.
Hey kid, have you even moved from that spot?
Give me like 5 more minutes.
You said that like an hour ago, bro. You know what? At least you can look at me when you talk to me. You know what? I'm taking this away.
That's so unfair.
Does this look familiar? Or something that might have happened in your house? I'm thinking it might. Sometimes you get wrapped up in what you're doing and it's hard to pay attention to the things you should be doing, like homework or chores. When you think about yourself, you definitely don't have time to think about others or people and what they might need. So, how do we stop thinking of ourselves and start putting others first? Well, let's think about what Paul wrote in his letter. We can start by remembering what Jesus did for us. Then we can choose to follow his example. We can be humble and show others they're important by taking our eyes off of the screen and actually looking at them when they talk to us. Eye contact is key. Now, let's take another scenario. See if this one sounds familiar to you. Wow, this restaurant is really amazing. Yeah, it's great, right? The food smells so good. I know, my parents own it. It's like our family business. I remember you telling me about that. That's so cool. Yeah, my parents make a ton of money. That's great. Do you think we could order some food? I basically get whatever I want. Did you see my new phone? Yeah, my parents said I can't get a phone yet. Yeah, I used to have the old version of this phone, but then once the new one came out, my parents got it for me. And to top it all off, we have a huge flat screen TV in my living room, and my parents let me stay up as late as possible until my eyes go square. Yeah, cool, awesome. Maybe we could actually order some food? Now, I haven't had this exact scenario or this conversation with somebody, but I'm guessing you know somebody who brags or who likes to one-up people. And if you don't know what the one-up challenge is, you know a friend that says, dude, I once ate 10 soft tacos in one sitting. And then you have to go and say, well, my cousin ate 13 of them. And then somebody else has to say, well, I know a brother that knows a cousin that knows a mom that knows a dad's brother, first removed, second cousin's brother that ate 16, drank 3 sodas, and ate 5 5 hot Cheeto bags. Maybe these people or these friends could just enjoy the restaurant, enjoy the food, because I know when I go to a restaurant, I'm there for the food. Like Paul wrote in his letter, it helps when you think back and remember what Jesus did for you. Jesus didn't take advantage of the fact that he was God's son. Instead, he always looked to serve others. Remember, Paul said it in this way, going back to Philippians 2, 6 through 7. Jesus was equal with God, but Jesus didn't take advantage of that fact. Instead, he made himself nothing. He did this to take a nature of a servant. Okay. I have one more scenario, and this one, I'm sure a lot of you can relate with. So, let's see it.
Yoink.
Hey, I was playing on that. Wait, hey, wait. Wait, I'm eating those.
No, I am.
What the? Come on. What are you doing on my bed?
My bad now.
Are you serious? This is the last straw. I'm gonna throw you on the roof.
Mom! Yeah, that's not from your room.
Wait, no. Wow. Does this look or sound a little bit familiar? If you have siblings like you saw, that was my sister, you can probably relate. Sometimes family members are the ones who just push your buttons. In your family, maybe you feel like you never get anything the way you want it. Maybe you bicker with your siblings. Maybe you even roll your eyes once or twice at your parents. We get frustrated sometimes, and that is normal, guys. It is normal to get frustrated with your family, especially during these times when you're constantly around your family. Don't speak out of anger. If you feel yourself getting frustrated, take a deep breath and tell the person you're getting frustrated with, I'm getting a bit upset. I'm gonna step away for a second. Then, as hard as it may be or sound, you can choose to put your brother or your sister first. Remember what Paul wrote in Philippians 2:5. As you deal with one another, you should think and act as Jesus did. There's a question that people used to ask years ago that looked like a dab. That's still a good way to think about it today. And it's WWJD. What does that mean? Glad you asked. What would Jesus do? In the moment when you feel frustrated, angry, annoyed, it can be hard to stop and ask yourself, what would Jesus do in this situation? But it's important to pause, take a deep breath, and then choose to respond in a humble way. Ask yourself, what would Jesus do? Would Jesus want me to get angry and burst out? The answer is probably no. And you know what Jesus would do? He would choose humility. And he already did choose humility. For you and for me. Now, in our normal everyday lives, with the people we see every day, we can follow Jesus' example. And we can put others first. We can also read our bottom line. And it says, put others first because Jesus put you first. Now, I know I'm not there in person, but I still want you guys to say this line with me because it's really important to know. So, on the count of 3, I want you guys to say this with all your heart and as loud as you can. Just if your parents are okay with it. So, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Put others first because Jesus puts you first. Well, we can do it with God's help. Now, with all of that being said, let me pray for you guys. God, thank you for your son. Thank you for his life, for his teaching, and for the example he gave of how we should treat others, Lord. Help us to choose humility instead of bursting out in anger or doing things that wouldn't show honor to you, Lord. And during this time, though we're around our family and maybe we're driving each other insane, help us to find the ways to WWJD. Think about what Jesus would do. I pray for my kids and I hope they're doing safe. And I pray for their parents if they have to go out. Lord, keep them safe and keep them healthy and protect them in everything they do. Remind these kids that they are wonderfully and amazingly made. In your name I pray. Amen. I just want to let you all know that I miss you so much. And I'm praying for you guys. And not only you guys, but I'm praying for your families. I really do miss you. And I hope I can see you guys soon. Stay healthy. Stay cozy. Don't forget to do your homework. I love y'all. Bye.